Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about breaking down big, complex ideas into something you can actually see and understand. And today, we are tackling a big one, the framework that's secretly powering some of the most successful companies on the planet.
So, when you look at giants like Airbnb, Dropbox, or Nike, what do you see? You might chalk it up to a lucky break, right? Or maybe some once-in-a-lifetime stroke of genius. But the truth is, there's a method to the madness. It's a repeatable process, a way of thinking that helps them create these game-changing products again and again. And that's design thinking. We're going to break it all down in the next 5 minutes. And listen, if you're aiming to be a leader in international business, this isn't just nice to know. This is need to know. It's how you build things that people love no matter where they are in the world. So, let's get into it. All right, first up, innovation's big challenge. Before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. Why does this framework even exist? I mean, seriously, why do so many new things just fail? It's a huge question. You've got this global marketplace, competition is insane, customer tastes change in a heartbeat. The odds are stacked against you from day one. And here's the brutal truth. It's because they build these absolutely brilliant solutions to problems that nobody actually has. It happens all the time. A company falls in love with its cool new tech or its clever idea, and they forget to ask if anyone really needs it. It's like building a beautiful, intricate key for a lock that doesn't exist.
Okay, so this is where design thinking comes in and just flips the whole process on its head. It says, stop. Forget the technology for a second. Forget the solution. It all starts with people. It's a human-centered process, meaning you have to understand the person first.
So let's get into the process itself. We'll start with the first 2 stages, empathize and define. Honestly, this is the foundation for everything. If you nail these, you're on the right track.
So here are the 5 stages: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Now, it looks like a nice, neat list, right? 1 through 5. But don't think of it as a straight line. It's really more of a loop. You're going to find yourself jumping back and forth between these stages as you learn more. It's messy, and that's the point.
Stage 1, empathize. And this is the absolute non-negotiable starting point. Everything, and I mean everything, hinges on this. It means you have to get out of your own head, ditch your assumptions, and really, truly try to see the world from your user's perspective. What do they feel? What are their frustrations?
And here's a killer example of empathy in action. In the early days, Airbnb was totally failing. Nobody was booking. So what did the founders do? They didn't just mess with the code on their website. No, they got on a plane, flew to New York, and met their host in person. They realized the problem wasn't the platform, it was the photos. The pictures were terrible. So they rented a camera and took professional photos themselves. That single act of empathy, of seeing the problem through their host's eyes, completely turned the company around.
Okay, so you've gone out, you've talked to people, you've observed them, you're full of insights. Now what? That brings us to stage 2, define. This is where you take all that raw data, all those stories, and you boil it down into one clear, actionable problem statement. You have to figure out what is the real problem we're trying to solve here. And check out the difference this makes. Look at the weak statement. We need to build a language app with AI features. See how that's already jumping to a solution? It's all about the what. Now look at the strong one. Adult language learners feel discouraged because they lack regular conversation practice and fear making mistakes. Ah, see? That's about a person. It's about a feeling. It's the why. It doesn't tell you what to build, which is great. It opens up a million possibilities. All right, so you've got your problem defined. Now for the fun part. Section 3 is all about going from that problem to actual tangible ideas. Let's get into ideate and prototype. Stage 3 is ideate. Think of this as brainstorming on steroids. The number 1 rule: there are no bad ideas. Seriously, the goal here is quantity, not quality. You want to go wide, get as many solutions on the table as you possibly can. The crazier, the better. You're not judging anything yet. just generating.
And to make this work, you have to follow a few simple rules. You got to defer judgment, encourage those wild ideas, build on what other people are saying, and just go for a massive number of ideas. When you do this, you create this space where people feel safe to say something that sounds a little crazy. Because sometimes the craziest ideas are the ones that lead to real breakthroughs. Just look at Nike.
So Nike's game-changing Air Max technology, that didn't come from a shoe designer. It came from an aerospace engineer. He basically asked, hey, what if we took the cushioning technology from astronaut seats and put it into shoes? How wild is that? Connecting two completely different worlds, that's the kind of thinking you want to encourage.
Okay, so you've got a ton of ideas. Now what? You move to stage 4, prototype. And the key here is you do not go build the final thing. No way. You build something quick, cheap, and simple to make your idea real. It could be a sketch on a napkin, a cardboard model, a basic app screen. The whole motto is build fast, fail fast, learn fast.
And Dropbox? This is probably the most famous prototype story out there. Think about it. Actually building Dropbox in the early days was a massive undertaking. So instead of writing a single line of code, the founder, Drew Houston, just made a simple 3-minute video. All it did was show how it would work. It was basically a magic trick, showing a file syncing across devices. And the result? 75,000 people signed up for the waiting list. Overnight, from one little video. Think about the power of that. For next to no money, they proved people desperately wanted what they were selling. They completely de-risked their entire business before building the hard stuff.
Okay, moving on to our final stage, test. This is where, the rubber meets the road. You take your prototype and see what happens when it makes contact with a real human being.
So this is stage 5, test. And the most important thing here is to shut up and listen. Seriously, you put your prototype in front of a real user and you just watch. Don't explain it, don't defend it when they get confused. Just observe their reactions and listen to their feedback. You're looking for patterns, what works, and more importantly, what doesn't.
And this brings us back to that loop I was talking about. Testing isn't the end. It's the beginning of the next cycle. The feedback you get is like fuel. It might tell you to tweak your prototype, or it might send you all the way back to the drawing board, forcing you to come up with new ideas. Or maybe you even realized you defined the wrong problem in the first place. It's a constant process of learning and refining. Okay, so let's tie this all together. Why should you, as a future leader in global business, care so much about thinking like a designer?
Well, here's the payoff. It's huge. First, you dramatically reduce risk. You're not betting millions on a hunch. You're placing small bets to learn what works. Second, you create stuff that's actually different, that stands out, because it's built on a real human need. That creates insane customer loyalty. And finally, it creates a company culture where everyone is constantly learning and innovating.
Ultimately, this is more than just a 5-step process. It's a mindset. It's a total shift in how you see the world. You stop starting with the question, what can we build? And instead, you start with, what do people truly need? It's a simple change, but it changes everything.
So, here's the question I want to leave you with. What problem will you solve by putting people first? As you go on in your career, especially in a global context, that question right there, that's the one that's going to lead to real, meaningful success.